fellow Ambazonians. My brother Lucas Asso, when the spokesman for the Ambazonia Governing Council. This evening I don't come again for can give a report with the international newspaper with the call as Jeune Afrique. When one of the most popular newspaper for the French African countries for the French continent, for the world. You don't write an article, and for the front page for that newspaper, now Dr. Cho Ayaba, now a picture they put on for the front for the newspaper. Now one of the first articles in this for an international newspaper for take the front page and dedicate them for Ambazonia. The Ambazonian liberation struggle, it take the proper shape we're supposed to take on. The Ambazonian people, they gain the international attention at the time when that attention is supposed to be for the international stage. The Ambazonian and Cameroun conflict, from what we know and from what they happen, they at the center stage of international diplomacy. This generation, we don't stand for give the rights of the Ambazonian people them, for protect the lives of the Ambazonian people them, for demand freedom, independence, sovereignty, justice and accountability for Ambazonia. They don't do a very good job. We most of the time, we need to take the time for recognize and praise ourselves. We don't come too far for a very short period of time. We don't come too far. We don't come too far than waiting any other person to be expect them, than waiting any other person to be anticipate them, than waiting, we don't come too far than waiting any person to be ever dreamed of. I understand, say because of the pain of war, because of the suffering of war, because of the loss of lives of war, you need to feel like say we make the needed progress. Oh yes, oh yes. We don't make so much more progress than any person be ever think of, including the egg of sea. The progress where the Ambazonian people don't make them, and how far we don't take this liberation struggle for reach for such a short period of time. As until we I know get the words for describe them for our way. For Jeune Afrique, we can put them for their front page. And for the first time, for tell the world, but now what is Jeune Afrique? He really talk which is Jeune Afrique writer, and why it matter for the Amazonian people. Make we bring the French side of the story first. Now in this, that the Jeune Afrique, this one are the latest edition for this Jeune Afrique story report. Now the latest edition this. Now in this, for here, this article, it come out now for number 5 day for June, just 3 days ago. This article will be very fresh. It come out 3 days ago and number 5 day for this month of June for 2023. For the Egyptian language, for the colonial language, French, the talk say, "O Cameroun, the poor Biya, Lucas Cho Ayaba, l'ennemi public numéro 1." Una not laugh my French. No, una not laugh my French. Una not say me I not study the Egyptian language. Alright, una not laugh. So, make we bring the headline where they talking for English. Now in this, now the English version of that newspaper this. The talk say, for Paul Biya et Cameroun, Lucas Cho Ayaba, na Cameroun, they are public enemy number 1. This one are for the front page of the newspaper for Jeune Afrique. If you read the report, it gets some other thing for the way any person feel argue. But the most important thing, this report, it talks say na Dr. Lucas Cho Ayaba na he be the initiator of the struggle, the armed struggle. I put it that way. According to this report, the talk say na Dr. Lucas Cho Ayaba he be the initiator of the struggle for the independence of Amazonia, according to Jeune Afrique, neither from the front. So because of that, Dr. Cho Ayaba, he don't become Paul Biya in number 1 enemy. He don't become Cameroun their number 1 public enemy. And he don't be, now as they call him, a sworn enemy of Yaoundé. For this report, they also talk say, the Cameroon intelligence services, even the one them for both on the ground and the one where they send them for outside, since 2017, the plan where they get them, the orders where they get them, now for kill Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba in order for end the Amazonian resistance. This report, it talks say, Paul Biya they try for make peace, make it come back from Northwest and Southwest. It try for stop the war and bring peace. But they talk say they are number 1 enemy where they make and Paul Biya need to succeed for make things they come back to normal. Now Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba. That's so this newspaper talk. This newspaper talk say Dr. Cho, it is also insist say the matter must be handled by the international community. Paul Biya, get hand for handle the matter for Cameroon. So that's why Paul Biya the vex. Yaoundé the vex with Dr. Ayaba Paul Biya the vex with Dr. Ayaba, and they don't make Dr. Cho Ayaba say that they are number one enemy. Because it stands for the truth. Because it stands, finally, a brave man, an uncompromising man, a man of truth, a man of character, a man of principles. He stand up for do the right thing. He stand up for the people them. He stand up for fight a tyrannical system. He stand up for fight the butchers of our people. He stand up for fight the terrorists of our land. The people that don't be born Ambazonians since 1961. Finally, a leader, a man, a son, a brother, a papa, an uncle, a warrior, a stand up for face the occupier, for challenge the system. Why no go be Cameroun their public enemy number one? Why no go be Paul Biya a public enemy number one? Because he don't refuse to accept their corruption. He refuse for accept their bribery. He refuse for accept all their cosmetic agendas. He refuse for play the games of the elites. Because he stand for the common man. Because he stand for the common good. Because he stand for say the root causes of Cameroon's occupation for our land. When I cause this conflict, it must be discussed by the international community, for one side Ambazonia and for one side Cameroon, a man of principles. That's why you're on the Haiti. That's why the agents of Yaoundé, the Haiti. Because as Cameroon, you don't declare Dr. Ayaba public enemy number one. Paul Biya public enemy number one. All the associates of Paul Biya, they also join for that fight against Ambazonia by fighting against the ADF, by fighting against the AGOFC. The liberation will take shape. It becomes clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer as to who defied Cameroon. As to who defied Cameroon. As to the groups, the movement, who defied Cameroon. But also, this report raised some concerns. The report also raised some concerns. And Ambazonians, they must be aware of the concerns will be raised by this report. And leadership, they get to take the time to address these concerns as they take the steps for solve the problems that with this article also raise them. This article talks say the Ambazonian liberation struggle, it get plenty groups. It get plenty groups there. We all man the try for put hand. At the fight for Ambazonia. Me too at the fight for Ambazonia. When I count me, when I hear me, I be an Ambazonian leader. So the report be correct. It talks say plenty people then, plenty movements, they try for talk say them too they be leaders. And that one now a big problem. A big problem. When you get plenty movements, with plenty different people them, almost every day, they come out for talk say them too they be leader. And they talk say they must be counted as leaders. So this report, it talks say now a big problem. It also talks say there a big problem on the ground. Say plenty defense groups today, And plenty people them, they claim saying that they are defense groups. So it can be very difficult. It can be very difficult when you get competing groups. So they list some occasions and some of the story then they not be correct. In fact, one of the stories in which Jeune Afrique, he actually be right for November for 2021. I don't call them out. Jeune Afrique be talk say for the Syrian retreat, for the Syrian Southern Cameroon's leadership retreat will be take place for Canada between end of October and early November for 2016. Jeune Afrique be talk say Mark Barretta and Eric Tato, they be there for that retreat. As you know, I take up a lot of pictures. I be there for those 4 days. Mark Barretta and Eric Tato, they not be there for that retreat. So I want to just point that out, say, Jeune Afrique, not be all team way, it talk. Some they be correct, some they not be correct, and the one way they not be correct, we go point them out. The one with Jeune Afrique, it talk say, Ambazonians, they struggle, it be divided. All we, me, you, and all we know say that one are true. The one we talk say, plenty small groups of forces that they fight for ground, and plenty different people them that they claim say they get those forces. That one is so true. All we who know that one, we agree with that assessment. Now it will come now. Now wetin Ambazonia they go accept and wetin Ambazonia they no go accept them. Make we get clear. Wetin Ambazonia no go accept them. Wetin Dr. Ayaba don't tell the international community so we no go accept them. We no go accept any peace and a return to normalcy. We no go accept any Cameroon peace and a return to normalcy for Ambazonia without an international negotiated political settlement. We no go accept them. Wetin we no go accept them? Deception and manipulation of Cameroon agenda for using their colonial CPDM elites for go to make small deal them with communities, for go to make small deal them for buy forces, for move forces, may they join DDR, and then for call and say that the negotiation that one will not go accept them. Wetin will not go accept them, will not go accept Cameroon's continuous presence and occupation for our land in any shape or form. That one will not go accept them. So now wetin will go accept them? The Ambazonia Governing Council is stand for peace through a negotiated political settlement by the international community between Ambazonia and Cameroon. Now that one will go accept them. We go accept peace will be negotiated by the international community between Ambazonia and Cameroon. The outcome will be based to address the root causes of this conflict, for accountability for all the atrocities, the crimes where Cameroon don't cause them for our land. That one, we go accept them. Now, what do we stand for that? We stand for peace through a negotiated political settlement. We stand for justice and accountability for Cameroon. There are crimes that they don't commit on our territory and on our people. And we stand for compensation for all Ambazonian victims of this war. All the families who they don't lost relatives. Where Cameroon, they don't burn their house. They don't destroy their businesses. We're prisoners of war. We Cameroon kidnap them from our territory and from foreign lands, and he jailed them for no specific reasons other than for impose a will on our territory, the compensation of all those prisoners for the duration, for the period where they be take away their liberty from them, and the pain and the pain and the torture where they go through, the compensation for them. The compensation for all our refugees, where because of Cameroon declaration of war on the Ambazonian people them, the cause our people them for be displaced. A compensation for all the Ambazonian people them where they don't stay for bush and they become displaced, and even some of them they become refugees in Cameroon. Compensation, all these one them are victims of this Cameroon their war, are victims of poor Biya, the destruction of our communities, our villages, our towns, and our cities. A compensation of that. A reparation for the duration of Cameroon, their thief, their exploitation of our natural resources, are the things and that way the Ambazonia Governing Council is stand for. Now the kind of peace that we will accept now. What would he do for solve the problems with Jeune Afrique? He don't talk say the liberation struggle, it be scattered. Number one, the Ambazonia Governing Council, you don't realize I'm saying, over the last 6 years, the embedded politicians for our liberation struggle, they hide in the name of unity and collaboration for just be in the liberation struggle for the purpose of being in the liberation struggle without doing anything. So any genuine attempt for bring the Ambazonian people them together, these politicians them, who they know say, when we come together, when our people they unite, when our people they come together as one, these politicians them, their emptiness, it will be exposed. So that's why they do everything humanly possible for begin to create unnecessary tension within our liberation struggle so that our people not come together. The Ambazonia Governing Council, they don't take a drastic decision and a policy last week, and they don't send a letter to all other movements and leaders within the Ambazonia political space for tell them, say, going forward, collaboration for our liberation struggle, it must be practical and it must be pragmatic. We know just they talk about collaboration and unity. If we want to talk about collaboration and unity, any person we want to collaborate, it must come from outside a sign, a declaration of principles. Collaboration will be as until we would negotiate and for backdoor. You must agree in the public and swear, say you, Mr. XYZ of XYZ movement, you stand for work for the unconditional independence of Ambazonia. You go swear, say your work, now for work for defend the Ambazonian people then. Now for work, for help the forces, for increase the capacity, you go swear. You go swear a declaration of principles. Say you be a nationalist and you stand for the nationalist agenda for the total and complete liberation of Ambazonia. You stand for the right of self-determination of the Ambazonian people then. You stand for the right of self-defense and for bear arms for the Ambazonian people then. You stand for work, for raise money, for gather resources, and for provide weapons to Ambazonian fighters, to Ambazonian soldiers, to Ambazonian liberators on the ground for them for fight La République du Cameroun. You go swear say the goal not be for fight other movements. And so any movement, any group where it stand for swear for this declaration of principles, where the governing council will create them, the Ambazonia Governing Council, it will collaborate with that movement, will go work together with that movement. So for we going forward, unity and collaboration, it must be practical, it must be pragmatic, it must be based on the aspirations of our people them, it must be based on which our people that want them, which our people that they go through, which our people that they demand them, and which will help with for chase Cameroun out of Walan. Secondly, the Ambazonia Governing Council, it focus now for unite all the forces on the ground. As the people then win that, then they create self-defense, they initiate self-defense, they launch the armed struggle. The Ambazonia Governing Council, I don't talk them since 2018 actually. The Ambazonia Governing Council get a responsibility for unite all the forces. Because now you get the ideology of the armed resistance. Now you put the arms on the ground. Now you recruit, train, and deploy forces. So now you understand more which soldiers they need them, how to keep them together, how to get them to be motivated, how to take care of their well-being, how to treat them when they're sick, how to provide psychological support, how to coordinate their activity, how to guide them and train them and support them and give them the inspiration and the motivation. So the governing council, it get a responsibility for uniting all forces. To that effect, over the last few months, the leader of our war of independence, the Ambazonia Governing Council leadership, it only take serious steps. We don't succeed for unite all the forces for Bamenda Central under one Bamenda Central Command. All the forces within Bamenda Center, the Ambazonia Governing Council, it don't unite all those forces and bring all those forces under one command structure. We don't succeed for unite all the forces for the state of Biya under the Biya Central Command. And when I don't see the great work, we did work together. The Ambazonia Governing Council, it work with all the forces in the state of Biya for help them to come under one central command, for increase their effectiveness, their unity and their collaboration. And the Ambazonia Governing Council, it is give material support, leadership support to these forces for these structures I don't mention them. So going forward, our priority will be for unite the forces and for increase the supply of materials directly to these forces. And they step them this way the egg of sea, it is taken for address some of the things which Jeune Afrique, it raised them saying that some concerns in that for our liberation struggle. So I'm just to make I take the time. We can't get this discussion all way. For anywhere where you did, if you get a concern, you get a question, you get a suggestion, always feel free for reach out to my office. Always feel free for reach out to me. If something did happen for community, when I get my phone number, when I send me a message, when I take pictures, when I take videos, when I send them for we. Our relationship with the grassroots, with the community, will be very important. I want to end this broadcast by thanking our forces for the special forces, for the great work where they go for condemn, for the great state of Manu, for the action where they take on, for capture the Cameroun be outpost, and for put and for fire, for light and for fire, and for send Cameroun out of. I not get that. I not get that video. We don't post that video for now. I don't post that for my spokesman page. The video where the Ambazonia Defense Forces for the great state of Kendem, for the village of Kendem, for Manu, the Ambazonia Defense Forces. Wanna give me one moment, make I see the video there for you. I see if I fit bring up for now. For some of you, I know I see them, but for most of you now, I don't post the video for my page or for a page for you. Make a find and bring up for now quick. All right, 90s. Make a bring up for now. They say don't come. Computer talks the video don't come. All right.
Today is 20th of May 2023. This is Amazonian Defense Force on ground. Shishik in your day. Any shaking through the target. The houses, the one can make base for them and condemn my 37 Angwa. Shishi no the rebel and the one can fire. Amazonian Defense Force. BTF. Live. See the one can stay. Let them come. It's 20th of May 2023. This is Amazonian Defense Force on ground. Shishik in your day. Any shaking through the target. The houses, the one can make base for them and condemn my 37 Angwa. Shishi no the rebel and the one can fire. Amazonian Defense Force.
Now the operation that we brave forces of the ADF. The operation that with the carrier, the special forces them of their Kamatsu, they go right for inside for Kendem, for my 37. The place where the Cameroun colonial be, they don't go build them. See that their new office that we can create a B post. And the brave warriors who they need sleep. They take all this risk to make sure they dismantle those Cameroon occupational infrastructures. Not leave them they can shit down for day, settle for day, and then it will be very difficult to fight them. Fight them before the one even can stay for day. So the forces they do already get the intelligence, so they don't can set up that place. So all their computers, all their equipment, everything, it don't burn. Now the prices will come on the pay. Now the thing is what they call and say increase the cost of occupation. Anything where they try for put them, for say after they can stay, dismantle them. Alright? So when I stay strong, at this moment, when I don't score a very big victory, for the first time, the Ambazonian people, the Shidon, in front of the United Nations, in front of big country them, where they be observers, the Shidon for Canada, on the table for one side. Cameroun Shidon for one side. And we beat them hands down. We don't release pictures. The leader don't declassify pictures. My brother be me. And me will be part of the process. We do the real negotiation for the second part of the negotiation for November. So, make una stay strong. At this moment of your greatest victory and your greatest successes, at this moment we don't go very far and get Cameroun to commit, get Paul Biya for recognize your right of self-determination and for call you a people of former United Nations Trust Territory of British Southern Cameroons. You have come too far. So make you not live on. Make the agents of darkness. Make you not live on. Make thieves and scammers. Make you not live on Paraman picking them. Where they don't turn the sleep with the enemy. Not live and make they choose your head. Not live and say you don't come so far. Anybody steal your victory away from you. Cameroun no one make you feel victorious. Cameroun, where you beatty for Canada thoughts. It feels so ashamed. They no one make you live with the glory of your victory. No live and make anybody take away your victory from you. First of all, no person of it take away the victory because that victory be eternal. They don't sign them. Now document where they sign them. Now international documents where they sign them. So first of all, person of it take them from you. But not live and make the use deception, manipulation, misinformation campaign for deceive you, say you achieve nothing. You achieve everything. You emerge victorious. You be victorious. You be a winner. Make you not live and make the devil tell you say you not be a winner. Make you not live and make the devil tell you say you not be victorious. You are victorious. You don't beat Cameroun. Now your glory, claim them, hold them, celebrate them. Alright? So during this time, the agents of darkness, they could try to be as loud as possible. Okay? Anchor yourself as a nationalist. Say shake no day. All the one that they try from 2018, they don't end up for the gutter of La République du Cameroun. They don't end up in the books of traitors for the gutter of La République. So too would anyone else. The independence of our people then. Now something way it don't be enshrined in the spirit of all we. Alright? In the hand and in the heart of the Almighty. So no small agent of darkness, no small thief, scammer, and embezzler. They go tempt Uta. Whether they go up, they come down. They go end up for the same dustbin. Because with Cameroun, when they know your weakness, that same weakness will take them for destroy you. The person, the poison, we don't go take them from Cameroun for turn against the Ambazonian people then. Now that same poison will consume them. Alright? We now stay strong. We are just getting started. The forces on the ground are just getting started. The more we unite them, the more we coordinate them, the more we lead them, the more Cameroun will pay the price. This one, that the egg of CDs. This one, that the spirit of the Ambazonian people them this. Alright? We will unite all the forces on the ground. The noise for diaspora, the noise for social media and Facebook, It could be not just noise. The reality, the forces on the ground. When I don't see what will happen for Kumba again today. They don't jam la Republique Kelebeda. Okay? For the state of India. Tomorrow we'll talk more. Make a live for day. When I get a good night, when I get a peaceful night, when I go sleep with faith and with confidence and with trust, we'll be for a very good place. May God bless you. We love you.